You're listening to the home of all things Lindenwood sports. It's the Lions Den on KCLC HD Through the Tower and on the Roar Network YouTube channel.
Good evening, Lindenwood. I am Jed. I have my co-host here, Zuggy. And tonight we got a little bit of a shorter show for you. But, Zuggy, why don't you tell them what we got in store for tonight?
So tonight on the Lions Den, we do not have an athlete to interview. It's just some scheduling mishaps this week. You know, it is hard to be a student athlete. It is hard. You have a lot of work. You're managing a lot of things, especially with the busy part of the schedule coming up for a lot of these teams. It's conference season.
Play.
Yeah. We got a lot of fun things to talk about, and we're just going to go straight into things with, going into the Lions Den, where we're going to break down all of the NCAA teams that are currently playing on campus.
It's time to go inside the Lions Den and break down every current Lindenwood sports team.
All right, so we are going to start things off in the Lions Den with women's soccer. And Jed, you want to get us started on that one?
For sure, I will. So, for Lindenwood women's soccer, their current record right now is 4-2-3. Anna Johnson scored their first goal in 7 halves in a 1-0 win over SEMO on Sunday. They dominated the possession over SEMO. They had 68% alone in the first half. I mean, that is phenomenal stat line.
That's how you want to open up conference play. You come out and make a statement in the first half against a rival.
You just want to show, hey, we're here. You're going down. Your win is ours. You're coming with us. But Carolyn Ritter completed her 5th clean sheet of the season as well. She's doing phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the best goalies by far. And sorry, not goalies. I'm in a hockey mindset for some reason.
Yeah.
Goaltenders in all of the OVC, and she continues to show why. She doesn't get tested a lot. At least this year, there are just so many games where Lindenwood plays, where they dominate possession like this one, and you're a goaltender, you're trying to stay back, you're trying to stay focused, stay in the game, and then all of a sudden, other team starts pushing, especially late in this one. Lindenwood was up towards the end of the game. It got really chippy. SEMO trying to get their first win of the season. Coming into this one, they were 0-9-0. So no wins. They're trying to get their first win against a rival in Lindenwood. They're pushing late, and Ritter, she had to make a few nice saves. She was able to get the job done. And the end of that game, I was working it. I was in the control room. We were getting so mad at that referee. Like, he did a good job. He had to. There were so many fouls. But it's like, another whistle, a red card, yellow card. And we did actually have a red card in that one. And we had a lot of yellows because it's just a physical conference game. And for SEMO, they've just struggled to find any offense this year or find any consistency. When you're a team like that, you got to play gritty soccer. And they did. It just wasn't enough to get the job done. And Lindenwood finally puts one in the back of the net and gets a W. And their next game is going to be on Thursday, 7 p.m. against UT Martin. They are also winless on the season, a record of 0-4-6.
Ooh.
And on the men's side of soccer, you got the men's team who has just been great this year. I mean, we've talked about them. We've really gassed them up on every show. They were 7-0, one of the top teams in the nation, coming in against the team in Rio Grande. That's not amazing this year. But you got to go down there. You got to make that long road trip. You're playing in the heat.
And I mean, we talked to Ethan Blake last week. He even mentioned to us that heat is it's killer down there in Texas, especially coming towards the end of the summer season. I know I wouldn't want to be in Texas in that heat, man.
And he talked about the travel, getting ready for that game. It's a long trip. I know they fly. It must be nice. We take a bus down there for bowling. They have to fly all the way down there. The team's jet lagged, and you could see it in the performance. Mm-hmm. That was not the same team we're used to seeing, but you're playing against a school who is up, I guess, in conference. Like, if you're looking at the conference hierarchy, Rio Grande's higher up.
Yeah.
And to keep them scoreless, to continue to fight even though you're not feeling your best, not having a great game, and still have a chance to win, because at the end of the game, 89th minute, we had a chance.
Yeah.
We had a penalty kick. Other team took a stupid penalty. Ethan Blake goes up there, and he skied it. It happens. It is hard. When you're trying to elevate, you're trying to put a good shot on goal, you have the game on your shoulders. Sometimes you just lean back a little too far when you're kicking that soccer ball and it just goes over. And
yeah,
look, a 0-0 draw, it's not bad. We still haven't lost a game this year. We're 7-0-1.
Technically undefeated. Still technically
you
undefeated.
haven't lost a game yet. But conference is coming up, and I know you got to talk about that. SIUE is right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of put a cap on that one, it's the first time they're being shut out this season. It's just... It's a shame. It's not how you wanted to see the game end, but considering all the factors, the fact that it ended in a 0-0 and it wasn't just, especially that Texas team, them being on their home turf, they didn't take advantage of that. Good on this Lindenwood team. Jet lag, the heat, the apps, everything going against you, and you still find a way to at least, keep it level the entire game. Good on y'all. But yeah, no, like you were saying, they face SIUE on Saturday at 7 p.m. in Edwardsville, Illinois. I know you're excited about that one. But here's the scary part. They're 0-5-1 versus SIUE all time. Have not won a game against SIUE. Now, we tied one, so a little bit of a silver lining there. But 0-5-1. So you got to think, even with the powerhouse that this Lindenwood men's soccer team is right now, it's looking like they might get that first win. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'll reference back to Ethan Blake last week. We were talking to him about this matchup in particular, and he said the last few years, SIUE has had a lot of guys who have played a lot of games, a lot of experience, where Lindenwood had a lot of new recruits coming in. They're new to D1. We have roster turnover. This time, we have a squad that is really gelled together, that has great chemistry, and has a lot of returners.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be key. But SIUE, they put a lot of their resources into their soccer team. They don't have a football team. They're trying to, by the way, which will be really sick if they can pull it off, because that's my hometown. I'd love to go to some games where I don't have to drive 40 minutes back to Lindenwood to watch the football team. But, dude, I mean, that is their sport. They have a lot of fan support. A lot of students show up, and it's just a weird environment. And I've played on that field, too. The lighting is weird. It's just a weird atmosphere there. So just playing in their building against the team you've struggled against, it's going to be an uphill battle. But if we were ever going to get our first win against them, I think it's going to be this match.
Well, I mean, not quite sure if you mentioned this. It's their homecoming this weekend. This is their homecoming. Bear in mind, most colleges and high schools, they base their homecoming around a football game. But like you just said, SIUE doesn't have football. So they base it off of their powerhouse team, which is their men's soccer team. I think it'd be even sweeter if Lindenwood would go in and ruin their homecoming weekend. I think it'd be funny. But that's also coming from a very biased opinion of being from Lindenwood. So I'm excited for this game, not only because it would be the first official win that this program would get against SIUE, which would be awesome, but it'd be during homecoming weekend and it'd be on their home turf. This is going to be a great game. But speaking of great games, we've got one on the football side coming up this weekend. But first, before we get into that, we are going to talk about the football team and how they're stacking up so far within this season. 2-2 right now with a 30-27 win over Stony Brook, our home opener. Now, it was a little nail-biting after that halftime. I will admit, it was, reminiscent of a certain Super Bowl that some may not want to hear about from either side of the aisle, but let's be honest, it was looking pretty scarce. It was looking pretty But Stony Brook was a 5.5-point favorite coming into this game, and they still lost. Even with that late comeback, they still lost. And yeah, 27-3 at the half. We thought we had it. We thought, it's fine. Don't need to worry about them. And then 16 alone in the third quarter. Ugh.
And they were getting 2-point conversions on them. I mean, they went down and scored. They made it look pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
And those 2-point tries, there was no doubt they were going to score on them. That's when I was starting to sweat. I'm like, I don't.
You were working camera that night.
I was camera one, and I was watching every play, and I'm like, guys, We're up 27. Let's get some stops here, guys. Come on. What are we doing?
It was a rough game. But nonetheless, your Lindenwood Lions prevailed, and that's all that matters on this one. A win is a win is a win. It doesn't have to be the prettiest one, but all it has to be is a win. But on top of that, Nate Glantz had Stony Brook guessing literally all night. They could not find an answer for him. He was awesome passing, and like we've said before when we feature him on this show, he's a dual threat. He's awesome passing, but he's phenomenal rushing. I mean, he was all over the field. They couldn't figure out what to do to stop him.
And yeah, I mean, we'll get to it later. There's some stats that really jump off the page with Nate Glantz this year. And not to spoil anything, but he's definitely in the 3 stars of the week. That's why we're saving some of these stats.
We gotta.
Yeah, anytime you can go out and have your career high in rushing while still putting up a bunch of passing yards, you're spreading the ball around. The other defense
At home.
Yeah.
At home.
Mind you, like some of these home games we've had over the years have been a little underwhelming. I mean, people are like, why should I go to a Lindenwood game? And it rained really hard beforehand. It was hot and humid, and then it became beautiful. And people showed up and they stayed at half, which is a big thing. The student section usually leaves at half, stayed to the end, great energy. The place was rocking. And, late in the game, it got a little quiet because Stony Brook started coming back, 16 unanswered. Mm-hmm. And then redshirt junior, running back, Jared Rhodes, 48-yard run out of nowhere. Team needed a spark. He gave it. He broke one, run down the sideline, didn't get in the end zone. But it ended up resulting in a field goal, which ultimately ended up being the difference late in the game. And that was huge because their quarterback, Chris Zealous, I was jealous of his abilities. 317 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. There wasn't a great answer for him in our secondary, and it was a lot of short passes. They are a hurry-up team. As a camera guy...
Check down.
As a camera guy, you're like, okay, I got the play done. Okay, I get a minute to reset, and they're going to cut to another camera. A lot of times, we didn't have time to get a replay in or something. They were going that fast. Get up on the line and go, short passes. Our defense couldn't rest, but our D-line kept us in it. We got 3 sacks, a bunch of pressure, made life really hard for them in the first half, and it ended up being just enough at the end to get the job done. And another thing that kind of struggled a bit was the O-line. We couldn't get the run game going, except for when it mattered, and they gave Nate Glantz a clean pocket. So, there's some consistency issues with the team, but they're doing enough to win in certain categories, and that was really helpful in this one.
Look, your struggles are everywhere, no matter what level that you play at, but it's when it matters in that 3rd and short, 4th and short, or even if it's 3rd and long and you just need to get to 4th and manageable to maybe where you go for it or you get the field goal like how they won by. There's inconsistencies all over the place, but like you were saying, they were able to hold them. They were able to make those stops when necessary and still give Nate Glantz. We will get to the stats, people. Do not worry. That is coming up. But to give Nate Glantz a career night, I mean, credit to the O-line. They did phenomenal. They did great. Struggled, but phenomenal nonetheless.
And they just struggled in the run game. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, last year you had a lot of older players on your O-line. This year you got a new look. But what they've done a good job with, and I credit the coaching staff for this too, is we have a guy who's mobile. Just, everybody cheat to the left side so we can roll out to his right. You don't have to be perfect. Someone might get through. Just give him time to roll out. Give him time to scramble. Let him Fran Tarkenton it, which is actually a comparison one of the announcers made this week to him, which I thought was cool.
That's awesome.
A blast from the past, a quarterback you haven't thought of in a while. But yeah, I mean, we get the job done. We're playing a tough FBS school this week. I understand that they haven't had the season they've wanted to, but you're playing against a MAC team in Miami, Ohio. Yeah. So that's going to be tough. It's Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Let's see if we can pull off an upset. We just played App State. We were within 1 score of getting it done.
Look,
they're struggling. They were a struggling FBS school. This is another struggling FBS school. Let's have another good performance here and maybe get the job done.
I say Lindenwood almost kind of has this one, though. And I'm thinking of the high that they're riding on they're riding on a win. They're riding on a home win. Miami, Ohio, they might be an FBS team and they might be, one of those higher conferences and all that. they're 0-3. They're winless. And this is supposed to, I'm sure this is how they view it, but they view us as a gimme game. You know, low little FCS school. Nah. I think genuinely, I think Lindenwood has probably one of the best starts or one of the best games so far this season. I think we go 3-2 at the end of this weekend. I'm excited to watch this one.
That'd be ideal.
It'd be very ideal.
Hey, if anything, every time we've played against an FBS school in the modern D1 era, which has been 2 games, the other team didn't cover the spread. Mm-hmm. You know, people think we're going to get blown out every single time. We've risen above. We've elevated our game. Let's see if we can do it again this week. Make it close. Yeah. Even if it's, you don't win the game because they just have the size, the talent, eventually they're going to wear you down. You saw it this week. Their running back didn't do a whole lot for Stony Brook in the first half. He's a really good guy. I mean, he's big, he's fast, he's shifty. Second half, we got wore down, and he started to go. So the entire game, we're going to go up against linemen that are at least 20 pounds heavier, a few inches taller. They're going to wear you down, and then you got the running backs just bashing into you the whole time. End of the game could get ugly, but hey, I think we got a shot, and I like your attitude. You're confident in it.
No, I'm very confident. It's hard not to ride the confidence coming off of a home win. Now, if this would have been a home loss, it would have been a little shaky. I still would be rooting for Lindenwood, but it'd be a little shaky. No, this is a home win. They didn't have to travel. They got to stay at home. They got to sleep in their own beds. They didn't get jet lagged, and they get to walk away with the win. And now they're riding that high going into an FBS game, knowing that the last FBS game that they were only 3 points away. 3 points, about a touchdown away. One score. How can you not just, how can you not have that going in?
If there was ever a time to do it, it would be now.
It is 110% now.
All right, well, we are going to shift gears onto the final sport we're going to cover. It is women's volleyball, and their season is really about to kick off. You've had the non-con, you've been in some tournaments, and last weekend, they got back in action, and they dropped a tough one to East Texas A&M. It was 5 sets, and then they got swept by Iowa, which it's Iowa. There's no shame in that one.
No.
But you had some good performances. Ashley Gluck, Autumn Bax, we've had on the show before, Jade Roth. This year they've had some really good individual performances where they're putting up double-digit numbers in a few different categories. Setter Megan Donahue, she's been great, setting up all of the attackers for the volleyball team.
Oh, yeah.
Giving them good balls, because that's the big part of it. We're not big volleyball guys, but you understand. First person has to stop the spike.
Oh, yeah.
Second person needs to put up a good ball, and then you're trying to spike it right back. She's done an awesome job this year. She's already won Setter of the Week before for OVC this season. I like to see what she keeps doing, especially when we get into conference play.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the consistency. You have a new roster. You have a lot of new faces. And while you've had some really good individual performances, it just hasn't quite gelled. And I really would have liked to see them take that game against East Texas A&M. But it happens. I mean, it's a young team. There's growing pains. And they're going to get a chance on Friday and Saturday in Charleston to play against a tough Eastern Illinois team. We'll see what this team's made of.
Yeah, and I mean, to kind of harken back to the Autumn Bax episode whenever we had her on, I mean, she even mentioned herself, this is a very young team. All the seniors from the OVC championship team, they graduated. They're on to semi-greener pastures. I'm not going to say greener pastures.
The real world, I don't know if is greener pastures.
That's why I'm saying semi-greener. It's scary out there.
As a senior, I'm pretty scared about what happens after this.
But they're off to semi-greener pastures, They don't have to worry about essays and all that. Well, depending on what profession they chose. I digress. But she said this is a young team. They're still figuring it out. They're learning how to work with each other, and that they have a pretty good idea of how to get it down, but they're still learning and they're still growing with each other. These growing pains are just going to be there for them this season because this is a fresh, young, new roster. So, the Iowa game, no shame. No shame. I mean, Iowa is just one of those schools that is up there in just about every sport that they do. And East Texas A&M, take it with a grain of salt. Don't read too much into it. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just, yes, we lost. It sucks. let's move on to next week, improve, do better, do better, do better, do better, do better.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about volleyball is each set is like its own game, and you don't get credit for the ones you won. It was 2-3. We played them all the way to the last point, essentially, of the last game, and battled hard. Just didn't get the job done. It happens. No. A few things don't go your way. Volleyball is a tough sport.
Oh, yeah.
Some things take a weird bounce. It goes off your wrist the wrong way, and all of a sudden it's a point for the other team.
Look, I've played volleyball very recreationally. I could not imagine playing it competitively in any way, shape, or form because, man, am I terrible at it. I am awful. I'll hit something, and I'll hit it way too hard, and now it's like 15 feet behind the back line that's already like 30 feet away from me. So, I mean, kudos to them for doing this, for playing at the level that they're playing at, for playing as good as they're playing at this level. I think people just need to realize this sport is one of the harder ones. This is definitely one of those ones where it's like a lot more than what people think it is.
It's so much finesse. Like,
oh yeah.
Okay, ball goes up in the air, they bomb it at your wrist, and you have to somehow control that ball, get it to the setter so they can put up a nice ball. That's tough. The volleyball travels so darn fast, and you got to hit it perfectly.
That, and you got to think, sometimes they play on I'm pretty sure these are the ones that play on basketball courts. They're diving head first into a basketball court. I've hit my head a lot. Thankfully, never on a basketball court, but I can tell you now, it doesn't feel good.
There's no give.
No,
there's just no give.
Your head bounces, and not even well. So, again, that's another one of these things. It is extremely physical. So, yeah, no, and the technicality, the physicality, I have faith. It's very early on, but yeah, this team will be good.
All right, well, I think we're going to move on to our next segment. Here we go.
It's time for the 3 stars of the week.
Alrighty, so the first star of the week is going to be Anna Johnson. Johnson scored the game winner for Lindenwood against SEMO on Sunday. She headed a free kick into the back of the net in the 64th minute, scored Lindenwood's first goal in nearly 6 hours of game time, and for her efforts, deservedly so, won OVC Offensive Player of the Week. And she is the 3rd Lion to win an OVC Weekly Award this season. So, congratulations very much, Anna. That is why she is our 3rd star of the week. Mr. Zuggy, do you want to introduce our second one?
Well, I don't think it needs much of an introduction at this point. If you've watched any Lindenwood football this year,
you know this man.
Yeah, you're like, man, I remember Jeff Caldwell last year. He wore number 1. Who's this new guy wearing number 1? And why is he like the greatest thing ever?
Right.
Rico Bond, coming out of East St. Louis this week, 8 receptions, 119 yards, 2 tutties against Stony Brook. He opened up the game like early on. They got the passing game going and some deep balls. He had a 30-yard TD and a 34-yard TD. So they're just throwing bombs to him, saying, screw it, Rico's down there somewhere, and he's hauling him in as a freshman. Redshirt freshman. I mean, this guy, he's young, hasn't played a lot of games. He's putting up some crazy stats, and he has scored in 3 straight games. It's averaging 73 receiving yards per game, which is 2nd in the OVC, 39th nationally, and 4th among all freshmen. And he leads the OVC Big South in all freshmen in FCS. In FCS as a whole.
Yeah.
All the freshmen with 301 receiving yards so far. I believe that is very, very, very worthy of OVC Freshman of the Week, which he won again this week.
Oh, yeah. And look, this might be preemptive. This might be very preemptive. I love Rico being here at Lindenwood. He is a phenomenal receiver, and I want to see him spend his entire collegiate career here. That'd be phenomenal. Do I think a big school is going to try and poach him from us? 110%. He's so good. He's probably everything you can ask for in a receiver right now with his abilities. So do I think that they're going to try and poach him? Yes. However, Rico, please stay a Lion. That's all I'm going to ask. Please stay a Lion. That's all I ask of you. But, speaking of phenomenal Lions, and in the football world, Your final star of the week is none other than Mr. Nate Glantz. Yes, we've been hinting at him all show. We've been talking him up. And, of course, he is in our 3 stars of the week. Mr. Nate Glantz, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns on a 68% passing percentage. That is phenomenal. As well as career-high 104 yards and 1 touchdown while rushing. So, again, another 3-touchdown performance for Nate Glantz. 2 passing, 1 rushing, and a career rushing night. It ranks top 20 nationally in multiple categories, including 9th in total offense and 10th in passing yards in FCS. And like Rico, who is the OVC Big South Freshman of the Week, he is the OVC Big South Offensive Player of the Week. So both of them are recognized conference-wide for their contributions during Stony Brook. And while, as we said, the game was a little shaky towards the end, that's pretty much first half. First half, and they're still better than the rest of the OVC. I mean, I'll take those stat lines.
Yeah,
I'll take those
in
stat
that
lines
game,
any day.
I think the biggest reason in the second half why the offense didn't do a whole lot is coming out of the locker room, we got the ball, and you could tell the play calling changed. Mm-hmm. I think Nate Glantz is going to change the way the offensive coordinators call the game from here on out, because in the past, he's had turnover problems. And you're like, okay, we're up in the game, take the ball out of his hands, let's run it a bit. The minute we switched the offense back into attack mode, he was ready. He's making big plays happen.
Oh, yeah.
That final drive of the game, there's some clock left. We're trying to run out the clock, make them use their timeouts. And he had some big throws, big plays, and did everything that was asked of him again. He's not turning over the football this year.
No.
He's not playing hero ball. He's being smart with the football. I'd like to see him slide a bit more because I don't want to see him get hurt because he just Leroy Jenkinses into everybody. If you're in front of him at the goal line, dude, he's just going to try to put a shoulder into you. And if he gets a touchdown, maybe he doesn't. But he is a full effort guy.
He's going to go for it.
I need him to be healthy. we need him healthy. But I talked about it the first episode we did Lions Den this year. It's like, we need to take that next step. Oh, man, we didn't look so good against St. Thomas. And then you couldn't tell with App State because we're an FBS school.
Yeah.
Didn't have a good gauge. Since then, he's kind of lit the world on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's one of the top guys in the FCS as a whole, and at least in OVC Big South play. Everyone else got better at quarterback. I say better in air quotes. They tried to upgrade. We stuck with our guy. He's developing, and he looks great this year.
Look, Nate Glantz is probably going to be the QB until he graduates. And, that's awesome. He's progressed. He's done well. He is a dual threat QB. There's just no other way to put it. He is a dual threat QB. You can rely on him no matter what your play call is. And even in, say it's a passing, and it could be a quick check down for a couple yards. He might just decide, you know what? No, I'm going to keep it and run it. And now you have a whole first down or even more. So congratulations, Mr. Glantz. Very well deserved on both OVC Big South Player of the Week and everything. Oh, man. Heck of a QB.
Yep, he's taking that next big step. And, hopefully next week on the show, because we're going to wrap things up now.
Yeah.
We'll see. If they pull off another big win, he has stats like that, it could be him on the show. We could go get Rico Bond, or maybe the volleyball team comes out and just wipes the floor with Eastern Illinois. So we'll see who we get next week. And, hey, this is going to be on the Roar Network YouTube channel. If you want to see somebody or there's an athlete you want to have on, leave a comment. We'll see it. We'll reply. And, we're trying to bring you guys some good content and some good insight into Lindenwood athletics. But, Jet, do you have any finishing thoughts before we wrap things up?
No, honestly, I think that last remark is perfect. If you guys have anyone you'd like to hear from, you'd like to see, you'd like to, just hear a little bit more insight from on a specific sport, leave a comment. Tell us. We'd love to be able to get one of them for you. Because this show is for the students, by the students, about the students. This is for student athletics to present themselves to the wider audience of Lindenwood. So please don't be afraid to ask.
And even if it's a smaller sport, we're covering NCAA stuff, but the golf teams exist. Bowling teams exist. The rugby teams exist. The reason why we don't necessarily cover them on the show is because the information is just not there. to be
Yeah.
super educated on. Like, we'd have to go there, watch the game, actually talk to all the players to get a sense, because the information, the stats aren't there.
No.
You know, I can't tell you right now, even though I was technically on the bowling team, I can't tell you what the guy's stats are. I don't know who's averaging what. And even if I told the people at home, no one knows what that means. But yeah, anyways, I think that's all for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Lions Den. We're on air every Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on the Tower, and all recordings are on the Roar Network YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your evening, and go Lions!